Some places are more than destinations. They are powerful teachers, holding lessons that echo through generations. Cape Coast Castle in Ghana is one of these places, standing as a silent witness to centuries of human history. Its white walls shine under the African sun, but up close, you feel the weight of history pressing in from every stone. This castle is a monument, a memorial, and a classroom for all of humanity, inviting us to remember and to learn. Visiting isn't just about old buildings, it's about connecting with a story that shaped our world and continues to shape us today. The castle tells of immense suffering, but also the unbreakable spirit of those held within, whose courage and hope endured against all odds. It reminds us of freedom, dignity, and the need to remember, so that such injustices are never repeated. Sometimes the most meaningful journeys challenge us to understand the complex parts of our shared history and to face uncomfortable truths. Cape Coast Castle was a central point in the transatlantic slave trade, connecting Africa, Europe, and the Americas in a tragic web of human movement and loss. Understanding this place helps us understand issues we still face today: inequality, injustice, and the ongoing struggle for human rights. It's a place to learn about injustice and resilience, about the pain of the past and the hope for a better future. The Ghanaian people have transformed this place of sorrow into a beacon of remembrance, education, and healing for all who visit. As we explore, we do so with respect, listening to the stories in the ocean breeze and stone corridors, letting them guide our reflections. This journey is an invitation to reflect on what it means to be human, to honor the enduring power of hope, and to carry these lessons forward. Cape Coast is lively. Fishing boats bob in the harbor, laughter rings out, and the scent of the sea fills the air. The town pulses with energy, from the shouts of market vendors to children darting along the waterfront, their games echoing against the backdrop of rolling waves. But above it all, the castle stands watch, a silent and imposing presence that has witnessed centuries of change. As you approach its massive white walls, the mood shifts. You sense the gravity of history pressing in, the air thick with memory. Everyday life unfolds just steps from where people were once held captive, the ordinary and the extraordinary forever intertwined. The castle is not isolated, it's woven into the fabric of a living, breathing community, its shadow touching every corner of daily existence. For locals, the castle is a daily reminder of ancestral struggles and resilience, a monument to both suffering and survival. The contrast between vibrant life and somber history is striking, a living testament to the endurance of the human spirit. The Atlantic's rhythm, once a torment for captives, now serves as a backdrop for reflection, its waves carrying stories across generations. Standing before the gates, you pause, preparing for the journey inside, a journey into the heart of memory and meaning. The architecture tells its own story, walls built for defense, cannons still facing the sea, each stone holding echoes of the past. The structure was meant to project power, but its true strength now lies in the lessons it holds and the memories it preserves. The castle commands respect, not through force, but through the dignity of its history and the stories of those who passed through its gates. Here, the past and present meet, urging us to remember, to reflect, and to learn from what came before. It's a place that asks us to listen deeply, to honor the voices of history, and to carry their lessons forward. Cape Coast Castle's story began as a simple trading post built by the Portuguese in the 16th century. It was a place of exchange, European goods for African gold, ivory, and spices. Over time, the post changed hands, Swedes, Danes, Dutch, and finally the British, each expanding and fortifying it. The British made it their headquarters, with governors and soldiers living above. The upper levels were spacious, with ocean views and offices far removed from the darkness below. The castle's transformation from commerce to captivity mirrored the shift from trading goods to trading people. The demand for labor in the Americas fueled the slave trade, and Cape Coast Castle became a major hub. The very walls built for gold were repurposed for human trafficking. This shift marked the beginning of the castle's most tragic role. Its history became a symbol of deep inequality and suffering. Cape Coast Castle's darkest chapter was as a hub for the transatlantic slave trade. Its imposing walls, now weathered by centuries of wind and sea, once echoed with the cries of thousands who passed through its gates against their will. For over 150 years, it was a center of unimaginable suffering, a place where hope was nearly extinguished by cruelty and greed. Captured Africans taken from their villages were forced to march for miles, arriving weak and terrified. Many never survived the journey, succumbing to exhaustion, hunger, or violence along the way. Families were torn apart, people branded, and identities stripped away. The trauma of separation and the brutality of captivity left scars that would last for generations. They were imprisoned in airless dungeons for weeks or months, enduring horrific conditions. The darkness was suffocating, and the fear of the unknown future was constant. Hundreds were crammed into spaces meant for far fewer, with little food, water, or light. Disease spread quickly, and many perished before ever seeing the ships that awaited them. The air was foul, the floors covered in waste and despair. Every surface seemed to absorb the pain and suffering of those trapped within. Yet, even here people clung to hope and shared stories to maintain their humanity. Songs, prayers, and whispered memories became lifelines in the darkness. Above, European administrators lived in comfort, separated by only a few feet of stone. Their daily routines continued, indifferent to the suffering below. The chapel's floor was the ceiling of the male dungeon, a stark symbol of moral blindness. Prayers and hymns echoed above, while cries of anguish rose from beneath. The system allowed some to live in comfort while others suffered below. This cruel contrast was built into the very architecture of the castle. The castle's structure itself reveals the cruelty and dehumanization at the heart of the slave trade. Its walls stand as silent witnesses to the pain endured within. It's a place where the past's horrors are impossible to ignore. Every stone, every shadow, carries the weight of memory and loss. The suffering endured here is almost beyond comprehension. The echoes of those who passed through remain, urging us never to forget. Yet the human spirit persisted, even in the darkest depths. Today, Cape Coast Castle stands as a solemn reminder, a place to mourn, to remember, and to honor the resilience of those who endured. Stepping into the dungeons is a humbling experience. The air is heavy, the darkness nearly complete, broken only by small spirit holes high in the walls. Guides share not just facts but the human stories of this place. In silence you can almost hear echoes of the past, whispers, prayers, and songs. The floor, once covered in filth, was the only bed for countless souls. Yet even here, there was resistance. Men organized rebellions, held on to their identities and found ways to remain human. The story is not just one of suffering but of resilience and courage. In the women's dungeons, stories of solidarity and support emerge, mothers comforting each other, bonds formed in darkness. These dungeons are a memorial to pain, but also to the enduring power of human connection. The guides help visitors feel the weight of history and the strength of those who survived. The courage found here is a vital part of the castle's legacy. After weeks in darkness, captives faced the final ordeal, the door of no return. This narrow passage led from the dungeons to the beach, where slave ships waited. For millions, it was the last sight of their homeland, a portal from freedom to slavery. The ocean's sound, once familiar, became a symbol of terror and separation. Today, stepping through the door of no return into sunlight is jarring. The beach is lively, but it's the same place where ships once took people away forever. Now a sign reads, "Door of Return," an invitation for descendants to reconnect and heal. This transformation is at the heart of what Cape Coast Castle represents today. It acknowledges tragedy, but also points to reconciliation and remembrance. For many, walking back through that door is a powerful act of reclaiming heritage. The site stands as both a memorial and a symbol of hope. Touring Cape Coast Castle is a journey through layers of history and emotion. It begins in the sunlit courtyard, where guides explain the castle's origins and its role in the slave trade. You see the governor's residence above and the dungeons below, a stark contrast. The palaver hall and chapel reveal the chilling proximity of faith and cruelty. Descending into the dungeons, the atmosphere shifts. Guides encourage reflection and connection. Personal stories and historical accounts bring the past to life. The tour ends at the door of no return but continues in the small museum. Artifacts and exhibits provide context and highlight Ghana's journey to independence. The experience ends on a note of hope and respect for resilience. You leave with a deeper understanding of the importance of remembering. Cape Coast Castle teaches us about the dangers of dehumanization. The slave trade was possible because people stopped seeing others as human. The castle's architecture, luxury above, misery below, embodies this mindset. It warns us when we diminish others' humanity, we invite injustice. Yet the human spirit endured. People resisted, shared stories, and supported each other. Their resilience inspires us to find hope even in darkness. The castle's preservation is a conscious choice to remember, not erase, painful history. By remembering, we honor victims and commit to preventing future atrocities. Standing in the dungeons, you feel a connection across centuries. This experience bridges time and place, reminding us of our shared humanity. It encourages empathy, compassion, and action for justice. The lessons here are not just about the past, they guide how we should live today. Cape Coast Castle is a call to remember, reflect, and build a better future. Leaving Cape Coast Castle, you return to the vibrant energy of modern Ghana. The experience is heavy, but what remains is hope and respect. Ghanaians have transformed a site of pain into a beacon of education and reconciliation. Their strength and grace are evident in every encounter. Life continues, children play, fishermen work, markets bustle, symbols of resilience. Visiting supports the preservation of these stories and the communities that keep them alive. It's a journey that fosters understanding and connection across cultures. Cape Coast Castle stands as a silent witness to the past and a guide to a more hopeful future. It challenges us to be compassionate, to value freedom and dignity, and to stand against injustice. By remembering together, we can build a more just and compassionate world.